The Autobahn may not have a speed limit, but that hasn't stopped Germany from pumping the brakes hard. Germany's parliament voted to eliminate the 3-year citizenship fast track for highly integrated immigrants. It's just gone. A law that wasn't even a year old, killed in a single vote. And if you think this was just Germany being Germany, if you think this is just one country having a policy change, you are dangerously misreading what's happening right now across the world. I'm Brad with Evolution Expats, and what happened in Germany last month isn't just news, it's a warning shot. A wake-up call for every expat, every digital nomad, every remote worker, and every person who's been telling themselves they have plenty of time to secure their plan B. Because the trend is obvious and it's telling us something very clear. The easy era of international mobility is ending. Stay tuned, because this isn't just about Germany flip-flopping on citizenship policy. This is about a global shift that's closing doors across Europe and beyond. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why the window for securing your second residency and citizenship is narrowing faster than most people realize, and what you need to do about it right now. But first, if you're serious about staying ahead of these changes, hit that subscribe button. Immigration and citizenship laws are tightening worldwide at unprecedented speed. Miss one critical update, and you could miss your window entirely. We're tracking these changes in real time, so you don't have to. And if you need expert guidance navigating these policy shifts and building a strategic international plan, Evolution Expats offers comprehensive consultations. The link is in the description. Now, let me break down exactly what happened in Germany, because the timeline here is absolutely stunning. In June of 2024, Germany introduced a new fast-track citizenship option. If you were exceptionally well integrated into German society, meaning you had C1 level German language skills, that's near native fluency, and you could demonstrate meaningful contribution through volunteering, professional success, or academic achievement, you could apply for German citizenship after just 3 years of legal residence instead of the standard 5. The previous government under Olaf Scholz created this pathway specifically to incentivize highly skilled, deeply integrated immigrants to put down permanent roots in Germany. It was designed to reward the exact type of people Germany wants: the engineers, the healthcare workers, the tech professionals who not only work in Germany, but learn the language to a high level and actively participate in German society. That law went into effect in June 2024. 16 months later, in October 2025, it's gone, completely eliminated. Chancellor Friedrich Merz's Conservative Coalition, the CDU-CSU alliance working with the SPD, voted it down. Interior Minister Alexander Dobrindt was very clear about why. He told German media, "Express naturalization after 3 years of residency was a mistake. German citizenship must come at the end of an integration process, not at the beginning." But here's what's really telling. Out of the 300,000 naturalizations that happened in Germany in 2024, only a few hundred people actually used this fast-track option. A few hundred. This wasn't a program being abused. This wasn't even a program being heavily utilized. So why kill it? Because German voters are increasingly uncomfortable with immigration and politicians are responding. This wasn't about fixing a broken system. This was about sending a message. The Conservative parties campaigned explicitly on eliminating what they called turbo naturalization. They argued that 3 years wasn't enough time to truly integrate into German society, that citizenship was being devalued. Now that they're in power, they followed through. And here's the part that should concern you, regardless of whether you care about Germany specifically. There was no grandfathering provision, similar to recent changes in Italy and Portugal. If you had already applied for citizenship under the 3-year track, but your application was still being processed, and German bureaucracy is notorious for long processing times, you're out of luck. Your application gets evaluated under the new 5-year standard. The rug was pulled out from under people who had been investing time and money and effort into meeting the old requirements. That's policy whiplash, and it's not unique to Germany anymore. Now, let's talk about the irony here, because it's almost comical if it wasn't so serious. Germany needs 400,000 skilled workers every year just to maintain its current economic output. 163 occupations in Germany are currently classified as having critical worker shortages. Healthcare, IT, engineering, construction. These sectors are desperate, according to recent data. 23% of German companies report that they cannot find enough qualified workers to fill open positions. In some sectors like legal services and tax consulting, that number jumps to 75%. Germany knows this. The German government absolutely understands that they have a demographic crisis. Their population is aging, birth rates have been below replacement level for decades, and they need foreign workers to keep the economy functioning. So what did Germany do in 2025? They increased the skilled worker visa allocations by 10%. They allocated 90,000 professional visas specifically to Indian skilled workers, up from just 20,000 the year before. they created a new opportunity card, a points-based job seeker visa that lets people come to Germany for up to a year to find employment. So, Germany is saying simultaneously that we need you, please come work here, while also saying we're taking away the incentives that reward you for integrating deeply into our society. It's contradictory. Business groups opposed eliminating the fast-track citizenship. They understand the economics. The Green Party opposed it. The Left Party criticized the lack of any transitional protections for people already in the pipeline. But none of that mattered. Politics beat economics. Voter sentiment beat business needs. And this is the critical thing to understand. Political winds are shifting around the world, and if you have been thinking about securing second residency or a second citizenship, if you have been planning to start the process soon, your timeline gets pushed back by policy changes every year you wait. Because Germany is not alone in this. Let me show you the pattern. The European Union is implementing its new entry-exit system, which will require biometric data from every non-EU visitor. The UK has been continuously tightening visa requirements, raising salary thresholds, and making it harder for families to join visa holders. Canada, which spent years aggressively recruiting immigrants, has slashed immigration targets in response to political pressure. Australia keeps raising the points threshold for skilled migration visas. Even countries traditionally seen as immigration-friendly are feeling the political heat. Here's why it's happening. The 2010s and early 2020s were, historically speaking, a golden age for international mobility. Remote work went mainstream. Digital nomad visas started appearing everywhere. Countries competed to attract global talent. Citizenship by investment programs proliferated. Residency requirements shortened. It felt like the world was opening up. That era is ending. We're now in the early stages of what I believe will be a decade-long tightening cycle. Countries that rolled out welcome mats for 5 years are pulling them back. Programs that seemed permanent are being canceled or dramatically restricted. Germany went from an 8-year standard residency requirement for citizenship to 5 years in 2024, briefly creating a 3-year fast-track option, and now we're back to 5 years as the only option. That's 3 major policy changes in 18 months. That's not stability, that's chaos, and you cannot build long-term international plans in the middle of policy chaos. So what does this mean for you specifically? If you have been thinking about getting a second residency, your thinking time is over. If you've been planning to start the process soon, soon means now, not next year. Programs that exist today may not exist in 2 or 3 years. Requirements that are achievable today may be out of reach tomorrow. I'm not being dramatic here. I'm reading the pattern of what's actually happening in real time. The people who secure second residency or second citizenship in the next 2 to 3 years are going to be the last generation that found it relatively straightforward. After that, expect tougher requirements, longer timelines, higher investment thresholds, more restrictions on what you can and cannot do, more scrutiny of your background, and more barriers at every step. And yes, we understand the political reality behind this. We see why it's happening. Rising immigration has created genuine social tensions in many countries. Housing costs, public services, cultural integrations, these are real issues voters care about. Politicians are responding to their constituents. That's democracy working as designed. But you have rights too. You have the right to protect yourself and your family with options. You have the right to diversify your life across multiple jurisdictions so that you're not completely dependent on the political whims of one country. And you have the right to understand that when political winds shift, they don't reverse quickly. Let me give you some historical context because this pattern is not new. After September 11, 2001, countries around the world tightened immigration and border security dramatically, and it took nearly 15 years before we started to see any meaningful loosening of those restrictions. Once the door closes, it stays closed for years, sometimes decades. The people who had already secured their second residencies and citizenships before September 11th had options. They could move, they could work, they could live across multiple countries. The people who waited, who thought that they had time, found themselves locked out of opportunities that had existed just months earlier. We are in a similar inflection point right now. The difference is you have advanced warning this time. You can see it happening. Germany's citizenship whiplash isn't a surprise if you've been paying attention to election results, the polling data, to the rise of immigration skeptic parties across Europe. This was predictable and avoidable with decisive action. Now, let's be clear about what still exists in Germany, because it's not all doom and gloom. The 5-year standard citizenship path is still there. Germany still allows dual citizenship, which is actually a significant benefit compared to many countries. Work visas are still available. The labor shortage is real, and Germany still needs skilled workers. None of that has changed. But how long will these policies remain stable? Germany just killed a year-old law. Coalition politics and parliamentary systems mean policy can swing wildly based on election results. The next German election could bring another round of changes, maybe more restrictive, maybe slightly less. You don't know. Nobody knows. And that's exactly why relying on any single country's immigration pathway is risky. You need multiple options, not one perfect pathway in one perfect country, multiple pathways across multiple jurisdictions. Because when one door closes, and doors are closing, you need 3 others that are already open. This is not about finding the ideal second citizenship and putting all your energy into that one plan. This is about building a portfolio of international options so that policy changes in one country don't derail your entire strategy. Maybe you're working towards a 5-year residency in Germany while simultaneously maintaining tax residency in a territorial tax country. Maybe you're building the business presence you need for residency by investment in Portugal while keeping your remote work setup flexible enough to qualify for a digital nomad visa in Spain as a backup. Maybe you're researching citizenship by descent options to your grandparent while also preparing the documents you need for a skilled worker visa in Canada. That's strategic international planning, not putting all your eggs in one basket and hoping the political winds don't shift. Let me also address the people who are going to say, but Brad, Germany still needs workers. The economics will force them to liberalize again. Maybe. Eventually. But how long are you willing to wait? The period between major immigration liberalizations can be a decade or more. If you're 30 years old right now and you wait for the political climate to improve, you might be 45 before we see policies as accessible as they were in 2023. That's 15 years of your life where you have fewer options, less flexibility, and more vulnerability to changes in your home country. The smart move is to act while pathways still exist. Get your residency established. Start your citizenship timelines. Build the paper trail and legal presence you need. Then, if policies tighten further, you're already in the system. You're already counting years towards naturalization, and you already have legal status. That's much harder to take away than it is to prevent you from getting in the first place. And this is where document preparation becomes absolutely critical. When windows of opportunity open, they don't stay open for long. Germany's 3-year fast-track program existed for 16 months. If you weren't ready to move immediately when the program launched, you missed it. If your documents weren't in order, if you didn't have certified copies of your birth certificate, if you hadn't gotten your police clearances apostilled, if you hadn't prepared your proof of income and employment, you couldn't move fast enough. The people who win at international mobility are the ones who do the boring preparation work before they need it. Get your passport renewed even if it's not expiring soon. Get certified copies of vital records. Get documents apostilled. Build your financial paper trail. Compile proof of your work history. Do all of this now while you're not under time pressure so that when an opportunity appears, you can move within weeks instead of months. I want to close with this. Germany killed a citizenship law that barely lasted a year because voters wanted them to. That's the reality of modern immigration policy. It's reactive, it's political, and it's increasingly restrictive. This is happening in Germany, it's happening across Europe, it's happening in Canada, Australia, and even in traditionally immigration-friendly nations. The trend is clear, and the trend is not your friend if you've been procrastinating. You cannot control what countries decide to do. You cannot vote in their elections. You cannot influence their domestic politics. But you can control whether you're prepared. You can control whether you have options when you need them. You can control whether your family has a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D already in motion. The window is narrowing, not closed, but narrowing. And the people who act in the next 2 to 3 years are going to look back a decade from now and realize they were the last ones who found this relatively straightforward. Don't be the person who waits until the window closes and then wonders why you didn't move when you had the chance. If you want help navigating this shifting landscape and building a strategic multi-jurisdiction plan, book a consultation with Evolution Expats. We can review your specific situation and create a realistic strategy for securing the options that make sense for your life. The link is in the description. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Watch our document hygiene playlist. Proper document preparation is your insurance policy against missing opportunities. When pathways open, even temporarily, you need to be ready to move fast. That playlist walks you through exactly what documents you need, how to get them certified, apostilled, and how to organize everything so you're not scrambling when opportunity knocks. Subscribe to this channel for real-time updates on policy changes worldwide. The landscape is shifting faster than it has in decades, and the people who stay informed are the ones who come out on top. The right information makes it all possible. I'm Brad with Evolution Expats, and I'll see you in our next video.